Greetings PCGen enthusiasts, this is Andrew Maitland with the PCGen project, coming at you with an update to how we do the class archetype system in PCGen version 6.06. Now, as you are all aware, Pathfinder has a system called archetypes, which replace or alter existing class features in exchange for newer class features. So I am going to go over how we've altered the system to become a two-tiered system using the fact ability, the fact tag that was introduced in 6.06, so we could handle the versatility of which thing actually gets replaced and which is just altered, and how to keep the archetypes from overlapping. So I have right here a kind of setup for people that are used to just homebrewing their own archetypes onto existing classes. So the old system was the category archetype, and then we appended all these types with the class name and then the class feature. That was the one size fits all, and it didn't work. Well, it did, but it didn't work properly. So I have split these into two groupings, the archetype grouping and the class feature grouping. The archetype grouping is, hey, this archetype alters this ability or replaces this ability. As long as no other archetype affects this other ability, we're good to go. If another archetype does affect this ability, I cannot be taken. So that follows the first rule. Archetypes cannot impact the same class feature. Now, where it got a little more complicated is, well, we have sub-features, partials. You got your sneak attack progression is 1 through 10. You got inspire courage is 1 through 4. Inspire competence is 1 through 6. You've got fighter training. You've got all sorts of other partials. Even the alchemist has a poison resistance to immunity progression. So in order to handle that, we have to hit both the archetype and the class feature. And as a programmer, if you have something that touches Inspire Courage, make sure you have all of the Inspire Courages encompassed. That way you don't have an accidental Inspire Courage from one and then Inspire Courage, and when I say Inspire Courage one from another is Inspire Courage. You have an archetype that does that, but you have another one that does Inspire Courage 3. Those two would be legal in PCGen, but illegal in Pathfinder. So you got to make sure that if you have anything that does, hey, I get rid of all of Inspire Courage, make sure you hit the subs down here as well. And the way we do that is we set up facts. These have to be defined in your data control. So these are the data control setups. They're all Boolean, so the only values you can have are true and false. So if it replaces something, use the CF tag. If the archetype even touches it, use the archetype tag. So you should have two lists, what the archetype alters or replaces, and then the second list that may be equal or less than the archetype list of what it removes or replaces, not alters. Unless it alters in such a way that you need to rewrite the ability itself out, and then you can feel free to use this tag. But what this basically does is, versatile performance no longer exists on the character. So if you need to put it back, you need to add it in through the archetype. So we use this up here, hey, I have this, you can't have that. And then we add the facts. And if you're just doing basic, hey, I'm adding my own archetypes, this is where you can stop watching. If you're going to go on and actually make your own classes, then there's two different setups. This one is for the Unchained, just to make life easier on me. I just put in a class ability Barbarian. But if you're doing it the old school method, you can keep it out here using the class feature. The big difference, instead of that pre-ability type from the archetype, we made it pretty simple. It's now a pre-variable. It uses the same naming scheme as the class feature. So these should always be identical to the one that's replacing. and all these are equal to 0. If it's 0, you get it. If it's not 0, you don't get it. And then the way we set that up, this should all be in the class abilities file, but when I was setting this up, because it was so bulky, I put it in its own ability file for the time being, and it's called CR Abilities Global var. You might see this also in the APG, or not. Yep, there you go. APG has their own global var. Eventually I'm going to merge this all into the class abilities just to make it a little bit easier, but just be aware this is how this is set up. So we define the variable, and then because this is all pre-listed, it's all shoved way out here. So the bonus var is always going to be 1 and it's of a type Boolean. So you'll see it's doubled up because I'm still supporting the old type system. So here's your type system and here's your new system. So the old type system is through the ability, whereas the fact system still abilities, because we're going to put the facts on abilities, and then it's got the same naming convention, true. So if I do that, these should all be identical. Makes it a lot easier to manage, and if we need to change things later on, it's just a simple find replace and we're done. So that is how that is set up. If you want to see how the newer system for the class, we'll just go up to Barbarian here. You'll see that the partials are set up exactly the same way. The class features are still existing. The only difference is how they're granted. So Barbarian class is up here. You get to choose the standard versus the not so standard. And it's split down in the X class and the standard class just to keep things all in line. And then there's that feature. Barbarian class feature rage 0. The only difference is now to keep track of the level progression, you have a class feature progression tag level, and that's how your Unchained classes are set up. So Barbarian has an Unchained version, the Rogue has an Unchained version, the Summoner has an Unchained version. So to keep things straight and easy, this is how we did it, just to keep things all in perspective so it didn't clutter the class file. Anyways, if you have any questions of how any of this was set up, you can always leave comments in the video comment section below, or you can reach out to me directly, help@PCGen.org. This is Andrew Maitland once again with the PCGen project, signing off.